Going live? We're live. Say hi, Internet. Hi. Available Zoom. This is your report of the state of Kentucky. County of Fayette, Department 209. The Honorable Judge State presiding is now in session. Please be seated. Your Honor, if you'll bring us back, just remind us what we're doing. I just went over it with everybody. We're hearing arguments.
Prosecution will be, I'd like to welcome everyone for coming back. Prosecution will first be delivering their closing arguments, and then defense will also deliver their closing arguments. Prosecution, are you ready?
Yes, I am ready. Yes, Your Honor, I am ready.
So that's 6 minutes for the closing arguments. Actually, you don't need the full 6. You don't have to use the full 6.
May I proceed, Your Honor? Yes. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, for the past 3 days, we have been presenting evidence and testimonies to prove that Genghis Khan and the Mongols are guilty of uncivilized conquest and ineffective administration. We have shown evidence of the Mongols' barbaric strategies, presented testimonies of their ineffective laws to control their people, and examined the opposing capitalist witnesses to show how these crimes are obvious from multiple perspectives. And now it's time for me to connect these dots and show that Genghis Khan and the Mongols are guilty beyond reasonable doubt. First of all, we've shown that they are guilty of uncivilized conquest. You've heard evidence from Al-Mustasim, who told us about how he was killed by being forcefully rolled in a carpet and trampled by Mongol horses. According to the Mongols' own Great Khan, the Mongols would use barbaric tactics, such as throwing the burning fat of the corpses of their victims over fortress walls just to kill the other side. Is this how civilized people would act? Furthermore, Mstislav III, Grand Prince of Kiev, testified about their behavior toward him and his fellow princes after their surrender. As he told us, he surrendered to the Mongols, only to be brutally murdered along with his fellow princes. Genghis Khan confirmed this tactic in his testimony. He told us about how they would lie to the people of surrendered cities so they would come out, only to then slaughter all of those except the ones they enslaved. Furthermore, let's just look at the numbers. Also in his testimony, he showed that just in Khorasan, they killed over 4 million people. It would seem that the Mongols weren't exactly the most civilized when it comes to killing and honestly terrifying ways. Finally, you've heard Kentucky's testimony as an expert witness. He explained the motives for the Mongols' action with remarkable insight. He told us that when the Mongols invaded Egypt, their motives were probably just plunder and their barbaric hunger for expansion. While being uncivilized, this hunger for dominion also led to a weak government in the end. Which brings me to my next point. Genghis Khan and the Mongols also led a very ineffective administration. First, let me remind you of what we heard from Kublai Khan. We learned about how he overthrew a long and flourishing dynasty in China, the Song dynasty, just so he could start a very short dynasty that lasted less than 100 years. Obviously, the Mongols have always been good at destroying, but when it comes to making a lasting government, they fall short. This became even more clear from evidence from the writings of Marco Polo, who served under Kublai, saying that although Kublai was the Great Khan, he had built power from Khanate to Khanate, meaning that he had lost all of his power over most of the empire. That seems a little bit ineffective, doesn't it? Speaking of Marco Polo, I'd like to remind you of what he told us. As Kublai Khan's confidant, he witnessed and documented the Mongols' actions. His writings recount when Nayan, a rebel against Kublai, was killed violently for leading a rebellion. But this was not the only time there was fighting within the empire, even just within Kublai's rule. In fact, you heard from Kublai Khan's own testimony that he fought a civil war for 4 years against his brother just to gain the title of the Great Khan. That is definitely not an efficient and organized government. Finally, I'd like you to consider the testimony of witnesses like Pope Innocent III and basically the leaders of any civilization among the tribes. We heard about their emissary system. They would send unprotected emissaries to cities to tell them to submit or be killed. While some would say that the Mongols attacked these civilizations because many of their emissaries were killed, if they cared that much about them, they might have sent them a little bit more protected, don't you think? So let's summarize with conclusion. We know the Mongols are uncivilized conquerors because of their barbaric war tactics, their betrayals of conquered victims, and their never-ending want for expansion. We know that they had very ineffective administration because of their weak and short dynasties and governments, their weak power across empires, their wars and rebellions within their own government, and their bad and ineffective emissary system. Ladies and gentlemen, your job is, as we know, to find the truth based on the evidence. And the evidence has made it clear that there is only one possible verdict. Guilty. The prosecution has proven each element of the charge beyond a reasonable doubt. We ask that you return the verdict that the evidence demands. Thank you.
Defense, are you ready to go to your closing argument?
Yes, Your Honor. May I proceed? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today you are being asked to judge an entire civilization, to look at centuries of history and answer this question. Were the Mongols truly barbaric and ineffective, or were they simply powerful, feared, and misunderstood? The prosecution wants you to focus only on violence, but we're not here to decide whether the Mongols waged war. Everyone in the 13th century did. We're here to decide whether they were truly barbaric, and whether their rule left nothing behind. So let's begin where prosecution begins, with blood. It's easy to look at history through a modern lens and label violence as barbaric, but we ask you to look deeper, to look around the world of the 1200s. And what do we see? The Crusaders didn't just fight in Jerusalem. They launched wars across Europe, killing pagans, Muslims, and even other Christians, anyone labeled as a heretic. The Arab tribes raided each other for centuries, and even after Islam's rise, they attacked outsiders to maintain unity. In Europe, entire villages were burned alive for holding their own beliefs. And then in the middle of this trial, something remarkable happened. The Pope himself admitted that his own actions in the Crusades were barbaric. His words on this stand. So I ask you, if even the Crusaders, fighting under the banner of God, can admit to barbarism, then what makes the Mongols worse? They didn't hide behind religion. They didn't pretend they were saving souls. They fought to survive, unify, and bring order to a world already burning. Cities that resisted were punished. Cities that surrendered were often spared. This wasn't savagery, it was strategy. Let's not stop with the sword. Let's talk about what came after the wars. Because where prosecution sees destruction, we see the rise of Pax Mongolica, a Mongol peace. For the first time in history, a merchant could travel from Italy to China safely. The Silk Road was controlled and protected. Trade, communication, and knowledge flourished across continents. This was not a dark age. This was a golden network built by the Mongols. And don't take our word for it. Take Marco Polo's. He traveled under Mongol protection and wrote not of savagery, but of order, innovation, and wealth. And let's talk about China. The Mongols didn't destroy it, they led it. Kublai Khan, grandson of Genghis, founded the Yuan dynasty. He used Chinese officials, supported Confucian scholars, and protected Buddhist, Muslim, and Christian communities alike. He expanded canals and trade routes, built infrastructure, and fostered international exchange. Does that sound like ineffective rule to you? The Mongols didn't just conquer civilizations. They absorbed them, improved them, and made them last. That's ineffective. What is successful like? Now let's talk about the other side. They told you stories of violence. But those stories came mostly from the enemies of the Mongols. People who lost their power, their land, or their pride. They told you about destruction. But they never told you about what came after. The roads, the laws, the science, and freedom. And that's not evidence. That's propaganda. And propaganda has no place in this courtroom. The trial is about truth, not fear. The truth is this. The Mongols fought, yes, but so did everyone else. The Mongols ruled, but they ruled more land, more people, and for longer than nearly anyone in history. The Mongols didn't just destroy. They connected the world in a way never been connected before. So I'll leave you with this. If justice truly matters more than fear, and the facts matter more than feelings, then to call the Mongols barbaric, after all you've heard, wouldn't just be wrong. It would be a denial of the truth. Thank you.
All rise. Bring your notes to me. Your Honor, please sit down.
Your Honor, can I be ready?
Your Honor,
You guys need to read. No, we
I didn't swear about yet.
you guys have to. This is a conversation.
Sit down, Dad.
And it's not, it's like, you guys know, remember the band house still?
You guys say it again. You guys say it down.
It was really good.
I'm like, oh my. Dad went on, oh, you want. And Rose went like, I don't know, why not? Here you go, Dad, we don't facilitate a conversation in here. What?
I'm ready for starts because he's walking down.
It's all good. He's got it. Okay, so jump in. That'll remove your assigned perspectives. What do you guys think? Are the Mongols guilty or not?
Okay, guys, what do you think? Are the Mongols guilty or not?
Oh yeah.
Jaden.
I think the Mongols are guilty.
Why?
Okay, I would kill.
I think the Mongols are barbaric, but they're not ineffective. Because they actually did, like, you think they're ineffective. They were saying this sadly. Okay, you're right on that, but
We're done.
exactly, you are effective. But some of the points that some people brought in their opening arguments, I'm talking to. I'm standing
I'm
up.
not standing.
What? That's right, couldn't hear you. So I agree with Abigail. They were barbaric. Like, they both people like the purpose of murdering them, of course, but they did last a long time. So, like, as a whole,
Yeah.
what do you guys think? Who, like,
Yeah.
putting both of them together, like, do you think you're guilty or not?
Yeah. As a whole, what do you guys think? Putting them both together, do you think they're guilty or not?
So the Mongols threw that. That was very barbaric, but it was good for the environment.
You
Stuff to like do good stuff.
Like reuse, like
Yeah.
so great. So as that reuse cycle, they did not reduce, but they did reuse.
Okay.
After getting out of late for a couple of days, I feel like actually I'm not satisfied. So I feel like I'm actually kind of leaning towards this kind of more of like the ineffectiveness, because like talking about tax on both sides, safety holes and stuff, like that's obviously not effective. Obviously it works.
I know. About the ineffectiveness fiction, yes, they did have a really good government, but it's also like, was that 150 years? Did that save as many people as they killed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait. Dude, call me. So also like ineffective government and administration. Genghis Khan did some things that I'm not very willing to say on camera. I think after the opening argument, I'm actually starting to sway towards prosecution. I think even some of the things said in the opening argument, Rose's opening argument is really good. So like some of the things, I just feel like they said that if you surrendered, you'd be spared. But we had like evidence. Like this is
And we got Austin.
It's like 25% of the evidence is showing that like even after he surrendered, like we said killed him.
Okay.
I think the defense will definitely get some votes just because they're leaving on it after the defense's closing argument instead of on prosecution. We'll have that more in your mind. So they win.
Yeah, but what?
It's still one vote. It's still a one vote thing. It's a mistrial.
So it'd be a hung jury and it would lead to mistrial, so you technically have to have another trial. Otherwise they'd have to all agree that they were not guilty for them to be acquitted.
You should make it not a mistrial. Whichever way it's leaning, we should just start.
Yeah, we should.
What if we are having bad votes?
Are we gonna be able to make verdicts like I have like they weren't effective, but they weren't like
Yeah, they could. So what do you guys think? Most of the time, my classes say on this.
If they were barbaric, they were in a mistrial. Barbaric, not ineffective.
Correct. So
Yeah.
I feel like if both sides do their job, or historically anyways, the jury says that the Mongols were barbaric, but the Mongols were not ineffective administrators.
Also, I feel like they kind of had a reason for being barbaric, because like having sexual organized kind of make you formidable. Like if they're all like, yay, let's be best friends, and people are like, hey, let's take over them, and then they will after. Also, why is Rosa and Owen question my on? I didn't.
Well, it's hard when you look like a girl. I hear a boy.
Dr. Ivan.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so.
I think the reality is like everybody was barbaric back in like medieval times because like if you look at like any civilization back then, they would do like some questionable things. Like very
questionable.
You want me to cite it? They have some very
I actually think as a whole, the Mongols were barbaric because Genghis Khan actually overshadowed most of the war colonies.
What?
Yeah, Genghis Khan.
was dead.
Yeah.
Genghis Khan was responsible for 0.5% of the population.
See, that's uncivilized.
What about how did that work?
Wait, what poverty actually has citizens? Every 200 people, one of them is related to
Modern day down bitching, but like no big down bitching.
That means there are like 4 kids in this school.
What do you think was the strongest argument for both sides? Owen?
So I think Miss Love is no, I'm saying. I probably have to say Kublai Khan and Genghis Khan were the strongest for ours. Yeah, because they kind of like everything that happened was under under their rules, so all the bad stuff was under like with obviously it was less of a range. Like there's so much stuff that happened, and it all leads back to him. Well, like in a family tree almost, it all leads back to the grandfather instead of like
Why do you think that's the most
probably. No, because like they just cut off all their emissaries' heads and then put them in a shrine. She a very good person.
We have like so much evidence for these two because they rule like such a big empire. But like all of these people didn't have much like relevant. So like we have like much less evidence to like study. You know?
Y'all can like cross-examine so hard.
Well, and to build up what you just said, like I was saying earlier, like if the great grandfather, all of it's underneath him instead of the grandfather. So that means like all the bad stuff that happened, all leads back to like Genghis Khan. Instead of like only some of the stuff that leads into like Marco Polo.
Like, what was it like being on the stand, by the way?
They won't let me talk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Actually, objection to the narrative and not just something short. We don't need you. We want a short answer. It's a yes or no question.
Yeah.
I object to your objection.
I object to your objection.
Yes or no, Charlie, that's all I ask.
No, in certain cases. Objection.
So, in cross-examinations, is it forced to say yes? Are they forced to say yes or no?
Not heavy.
No. I mean, they're forced to say yes or no. Like, objection. You have to say yes. Like, objecting at home, like, Miss Dinner, I'd be like, objection. Not good there.
But I mean, sort of, they need to answer the question that is posed to them. Now, where I don't know is like, with Charlie's, I forget the exact question, but basically it was a complicated answer. It wasn't really a yes or no answer.
Yes in like one page.
We're just annoying, okay?
So you're trying to elaborate on it, and they're like,
I don't want to say the big questions.
And we have evidence that's showing that
They lied under the oath. They didn't get rolled.
Not yet, they're wrong.
You said
They
they
also
were born
issued
in
the War of
1206,
Wars.
even though you were born in 1215.
I don't ask them like that.
It's only a yes or no. That would be, like, did you roll up whatever his name was in a cartridge? If I said no, I would be peeved on mine. Or yes, and if I said yes, I would help you in the car.
Exactly. What are you supposed to say? That's kind of the problem.
I know. Whenever they asked if I cut off their heads, I didn't. But that's why in the direct examination, you have to like show your points even more. Whereas whoever shows their points stronger and their points are better is like, no, they don't have that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's the idea in a courtroom is you have both sides, and if both sides are doing their job, then the truth should come out. If one side does their job and the other side doesn't, then it's an unfair system. And so that's kind of the objective here is, we are seeking, quote unquote, the truth, then we want to hear both perspectives so that the jury can ultimately corroborate the evidence.
Units called determining the
What was the very last line of your closing?
And facts matter more than feelings, and justice matters more than opinion.
Y'all give the opinion.
But no, I mean, you ended with something like that is the
Yeah,
truth.
I mean, I got that it was like you would be in denial of the truth.
Oh yeah, talk it.
I was like, dang, she just like brought it right back to our
Everything you were just like.
Guys, my 6 years you clock in and so on.
No, I just want you in the back and it's like. I know you're in the back here. It's like.
Like, oh, you gotta say something about my contact.
Oh, I know, I was over and then Sam starts going,
Okay, yeah.
But what is if you said in Marco Polo's day, he said, one, they did good, but they also were barbarians. So he's contradicting himself in the Mongols. Why do you do this to me?
He did good when he did good.
Yeah.
So is Genghis Khan good or bad?
Bad guy.
He's a bad boy.
He's a bad boy.
I mean, our very next thing when we get back from break is I'm going to ask you is Thanos a villain?
Yeah!
From Marvel?
So, I don't know if he
Thanos.
Okay, guys. It's Thanos.
Yeah.
Bad guy.
This is true.
I purple jelly. Oh!
I don't know, I don't see that.
What? I don't know. So Thanos is not bad guy. He's just a big purple guy who like is going after the universe. But he did it for like a reason, you know. It's like more balance. I think he was.
Thanos, he was trying to help he tried to help Earth. And people didn't know what he was doing by snap. So at the time there's a celestial in the Earth, and by snapping his fingers, so the celestial fed off of life beings on that planet. So it eventually will like break out and eat the planet like the caterpillar does to the seed. That is more firm.
Can I answer a question?
Yeah.
So what who's Thanos?
Thank
Big
you,
purple
Yuko.
raven.
Thanos is
Thanos
a guy
is a big
with
purple raven. Big purple raven.
And trying to stop the guy being the planet. No,
You got 40. Thanos is on drugs. Okay? Thanos is on drugs.
you don't on camera.
I know, but Thanos was on drugs in the good case. What?
Smash that like and subscribe.
Monkey.
Okay.
No, I think Thanos is evil since he has purple hair and he attacks players with good hair.
We're talking about big purple raven.
I was gonna say that Thanos would have rolled somebody up in the carpet, so we know.
His
I
daughter.
don't know if you
He
open
did
the
that
carpet,
to
you
his
don't
daughter.
get straight.
He did that to his daughter. Yeah, man. He basically did that to his daughter.
Okay, on the next one. Who do you think is gonna win the best costume award?
Max only got tested. Max didn't even get tested. He didn't even speak. Max dressed as Mr. Stark. Both of the third people. Yeah, both of them were already with John Bailey. Mrs. Stark, Max dressed as Mr. Stark. He's there the whole time.
Yeah.
I think Topic was gonna. Yeah. Dude, Topic said he's a little red.
They're close. They're close. They're close. Oh yeah.
It's gonna be Sam W. The best
He's a jerk.
the best attorney is one of them two. The best costume is him. The best lines either gonna be "You're dead, right?" and I'm dead or whatever.
And I'm dead.
And then the other one is the best witness
No,
is gonna be probably like gang.
Oh, that's the thing.
Yeah. I already said that's the thing. I said it'd be one of them two. Because like the closing arguments stuck in their head, and in my opinion, theirs were way better than mine. You still might think differently for his, but I know personally
I
mine
didn't do very good.
not as good as
And it was on Abigail's, and somehow he managed to say the word ineffective as efficient.
And that was just the greatest suggestion I've ever
Have you
seen. What is this Alvin one?
Eight. Yes. 7 to 10.
The 8-point scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 7.
Yeah, can I suggest
So,
you guys that covered?
do me a favor, okay? Don't be speaking back and forth, front row, back row, okay? Once you're done with it, just flip it over. Me,
Wait,
the
we got the name
front,
card,
obviously,
right?
your self-eval. The back, attorneys, you're evaluating your witness. Witness, you're evaluating your right?
Wait,
You just talked about what was challenging though.
Oh, this part.
Yeah.
Wait, so I put my witnesses in?
Wait, you're my witness. Or can I just do math? Because like,
What out of 10? Wait, is it out of 10?
Because you're thinking about the past 2 weeks. The past 2 weeks,
okay.
right?
Oh,
No, the past 2 weeks, right? So evaluate yourself, and then on the back, you're evaluating yourself.
I'll push you all the time.
Again, if you want to evaluate your partner at home, that makes total sense, and then bring it back to me, that makes total sense. Because again, I don't want people to see my evaluation of Oh yeah, that's why I gave you that all that space, because I want you guys to reflect on this.
Oh.
I want.
wait, and the next side too?
So you'll reflect on them. On the backside, you'll reflect on yourself. On the front side. Right,
Wait,
that's
which
why I
ones
asked,
were great?
I asked like 8 million questions here, right? So from your perspective, how did you do in the trial? Consider what you do well as you areas you could have improved. What was the most challenging part of being a witness? What was the most fun part? What did you learn about yourself? Reflect on your preparation as well as. You don't have to answer every single question, so long as you're demonstrating your reflectiveness. I'm evaluating how that works. Yeah, so here in a second, I want you guys to make sure that gets submitted, because I have posted it.
Sorry. I feel like you lied when you're like telling us the rules and you said like the attorneys are his job. No, witnesses, I feel like it's so attorney. No, I feel like it's now.
Witnesses definitely.
Witnesses go on time.
Wait. Oh, how?
Or like we're like we are prepared, they aren't prepared.
I mean, just yes or no questions.
I know, but I think it's the witness is technically the hardest, but the attorney has the most work.
Yeah.
Because the witness is just like the hardest to do.
Well, like, is that okay?
I'm trying to help you decide not.
I think like if the witnesses is like had more time to like study their own person, they'll be able to like answer the questions better.
Yeah, you're trying to memorize every single fact about yourself based on the bias.
Like really, I probably got the hardest one. Yeah.
I mean, you are leading.
Don't come back on the next one. You have fun.
Well, don't worry, we're still recording. By the way. The more you say this, the more I feel like I really need to. You're being recorded, just be clear. Just be clear. I'm gonna go check on this. I'm gonna go check.
What? I should have. That would have been barbaric.
No, like uncivilized and perfect and
Are you dyslexic?
Yo, the camera is on the camera.
The camera.
It picks up sound.
Yeah, it takes some sound.
It's like two.
It's really glitchy though.
No,
But still, you can hear that there.
We're being quiet.
It's even like I think from now drugs.
Like when in school we use live words, not appropriate words. Okay, just 1, 2, 3, like 10 minutes. 6, 7,
Oh wait a minute.
Do we go to the
Yeah, let me minute.
2:52.
Yes.
Oh my God. Can they just hurry up? 6, 7.
Yeah, I don't think they know.
How long did it take?
20 minutes. I could go. I'll go. You just go like.
No,
They actually were there, but they weren't like.
Was Sam the most well dressed though?
Yeah, Sam was the most. The ice cream truck, the baseball,
Sam was definitely the most well-dressed.
6'7".
the Crocs, the fluffy hair. He was definitely the best boss. He just dressed
Well,
up.
he is also.
He did. No, he didn't.
He dressed up as a 6'7" baseball kid.
I do not want to write. He already did. Yeah.
Peter and specifically made one.
Only praise.
My friend
And,
Mason
like,
said he's
a lot
gonna
of
be a cancer
criticism.
people on it.
Well, he admitted that this road said he likes to criticize people.
Yeah, we did.
This road's awesome.
Dude, no.
Miss Rose, Miss
Yeah,
Rose.
she's so much.
Okay, the saxophone. No, Miss Rose.
She's never listened.
They
He always
got
does
Rose.
places with saxophone.
Oh yeah, Miss Rose. Miss Rose loves it. Miss Rose loves it. They got my fault. Didn't want it. No. Yeah, because
It's a good idea.
because
But we probably
there's like
shouldn't
only four
probably
saxophones.
make it.
The saxophone came out. I know, but I'm just saying like.
She told me out at the party band that I couldn't beat it up. I was trying not to get pictures.
She loves it. She doesn't look at it. Hello. She loves it. Yeah, the only time I got to is for Mr. Reed. Yeah, Mr. Reed is like, Reed, you're so good. You already played, but he played middle class games and I love you. Is this what we're going to do? Let's play internet now. You already played middle class. You like it's like we're here.
All right.
Thank you. Great interview.
We have, on the count of ineffective administration, they're found not guilty. On the count of barbaric conquest, we are at a hung jury.
What? Hungry?
It's not high. Hurry.
What does that mean?
It means we'll probably be having a retrial, but we're not going to do that.
Now, that means that they could not come to a
We cannot find a
consensus. So we will mark that then as, and they'll be acquitted of these crimes, so they're found not guilty. Begin. Okay. You guys
We know.
Alright.
We now have our certificate of recognition for the best attorney, best witness, best costume, best moment.
Alright, so you'll come forward to get your certificate and I'll take a picture of it.
The award for the best costume. Ladies, oh hey Lola.
Make sure to shake his hand. Mom, shake his hand. Shake his hand.
Going back on 1, 2, 3, got it.
The award or the certificate of recognition for the best witness goes to Peter Brady. Oh yeah, comment. Alright.
Oh my goodness. It's gonna make me
The
cry.
award for the best moment. Infinite objections.
Yeah!
I think
All the
we did
attorneys,
that.
come on up. All the attorneys. Come on, attorneys. All the attorneys. I object your objection. I object your objection. Your
Get in
objection.
the line, shake Miles' hand.
Hey, I'm trying to squeeze out here. Somebody hold it. Let's get a picture, y'all. Somebody take it. Hey, you guys ready? 1, 2, 3. Oliver, still not breathing back.
Only three.
Oh, should we just have you guys stay? Nah, it's fine.
No, Miles.
A recognition for the best attorney goes to
Alright, can we say, actually, let's say goodbye to you. Bye.